SABC has decided to play 90% local music on its 18 radio stations. Mafokate says the decision has changed how South Africans see themselves and South African music. SABC News spoke to Mafokate earlier.
I'm very excited. I'm very happy. It has changed how we see ourselves as South Africans. Point one, we are now patriotic about our country because people are now starting to understand what South African music is. Obviously, there are those that are complaining out there, but I'm very excited, I'm very happy, and I feel like we're not even celebrating it enough. Even you guys as the SABC, I don't think you understand the impact you have on people's lives.
Now, looking at 90%, it's quite a lot of music to be played on our stations. Do we have, as a musician and an artist and a talent scout and a producer, do you feel that we have enough music to get to that 90% to be played on our radio stations?
We have a lot of music, but you need to also understand that we need to also understand that when we say 90%, we're not saying go back to your archives and just play that old music only, because I've noticed now there's a big outcry with the young people saying, but we don't know what this is. So we need to slowly put it in there, but we need to also realize that there's development as well that needs to take place. So you also need to start introducing other young people as well and start saying, listen to us as the SABC, because if you're just playing old music only, it's also going to create a problem because of already there's an outcry out there, people saying, why aren't we hearing this? Why aren't we? We've got rock artists, we've got white musicians, we've got country, we've got Indian music. Why can't we hear everything? So we do have enough music.
Wonderful. You're talking about development, but do you think that 90% of local content on SABC station will help in developing the music industry as a whole?
I think it will help it in many ways than one. Hence I say you guys are not celebrating this enough. Firstly, job creation. The most important thing is job creation, because there are people that spend their money paying school fees to go to music schools, and then they come back and then they don't do anything. So there's a whole lot that it will help with. It will destroy poverty from a lot of families because of the billions that were going outside the country. Remember, that's now investment that's coming to the country. If, let's say, for an example, South African music was getting 35% and the other 45% was international music, and it was more than $1 billion. So meaning that billion is going to be reinvested in this country. And people will be doing what they love the most. They will be entertaining. And also, it poses a challenge to international artists to say, if I need to conquer the international, the South African market, I have to find out who's a big star there and then try and engage them and do a collabo with them, which is what's happening all over the world. You find Americans doing collabos with UK artists, but with South African artists, they only come here and take the money and go, which is not a bad thing. I mean, we also go to other countries and we perform and we live. But what we're saying is it's also helping artists around the world to engage one another and, to try and build themselves as international artists. So it's got a lot of benefits, more than you can imagine. Also with the development of artists. I mean, we have young people that think like the so-called American idolized artists. So we can still have them producing this stuff, this kind of music locally. Yes, the standard has to improve. There's no doubt about that. There are a few that are getting it right, but the standard has to improve. If you're checking somebody out, you need to replace with somebody that's equally good.
Talking still about development, as the South African Arts and Development Association, you chair that association. What is the association's objective? Is it part and parcel of that, of making sure that artists are developed constantly?
That's why, as the South African Arts and Development Association, we are elated by this. Hence, we're going out there to say to young people out there, now come to the party. You wanted to be stars, here's the platform, give us good music. We are excited because remember, we are concentrating on developing the arts and culture in this country to try and say, you know what, there are platforms out there, but people are not giving us a chance. We go out there, we do workshops, we teach them about a whole lot of things, including registering with various collecting societies. There's another announcement that was made again yesterday by the CEO, Hlaudi Motsoeneng, which said, we know that the court said we must pay you 3%, but we as the SABC, we are leading by example. We're saying we're going to give you 4%, which is needle time as well, which is performance rights. I've been in this industry for more than 30 years.
Yes.
We've been getting 3%. And here comes Papa Action.
Yes.
He says, no, 3% is not enough. Let's give you 4%. So there's a lot of benefits from what you guys are doing as the SABC. But we need to also go out there and back you up. Because if you are under attack for playing a lot of South African music and we are not saying, guys, oh, wait a minute, this is actually supporting us as South Africans, then you guys are going to review this thing and go back to international. So we as artists also, as SAADA, which is the South African Arts and Development Association, we are saying to all the musicians out there, guys, support the SABC, because if you don't, it will go back to square one and a lot of families will still suffer.
More good news. SABC One has launched a new brand campaign, Life and